Hey guys, it is mid-July 2017. Been at this coffee thing for a little bit, and it's been interesting. The birth of the idea was in May of 2016, and it took me a while to launch the store. I didn't open the store till first week of December 2016, so still brand new. It's been interesting. I kind of want to document. Want to start documenting early rather than waiting until later, and the memories aren't as fresh. So, putting myself on a 10-minute timer to do these little journal installments about what's worked and what we think might work, and what hasn't worked. So basically just a business startup journal, so I can keep track of what's going on, and if the information is valuable to anybody else, then so be it. Since December, it's been up and down. We've had some. It was a really slow start. I was by myself at the beginning, and now we have Matt. I brought Matt on as a partner, and he's going to do a lot of things that are outside the coffee realm, so I can focus on the coffee stuff and still, expand on other ideas and things that I'd like to release or focus on or sell, etc. So the thing I learned about starting a business, this isn't my first attempt at something. This is my first solo attempt at something. So I've had a lot of problems. Not problems. I've run into a lot of roadblocks with working with other people, not being on the same page. And I always thought that I didn't have a talent. I was good at supplementing somebody else's talent or marketing somebody else's talent. But I didn't have any talents of my own. And I was camping at the Grand Canyon with my dog, and I thought, I can roast coffee. And I thought, surely there are people already marketing coffee to bikers. And once I did the research, there wasn't. I came up with the name pretty early, Chopper Coffee Co. I thought that it would be, catchy. It's shit that I'm into. I'm into bikes. I've been riding motorcycles. My earliest memories are riding motorcycles, and coffee. I got introduced to coffee at a very early age. My first job in California, I was 16, working behind a coffee bar, and it kind of just made sense. Once I had the idea, it kind of just all clicked, and that's how the idea was born. So I came up with the name. I bought the URL, bought the domain name through GoDaddy, and I got all the handles. I got the Twitter handle, I got the Gmail address, Instagram handle, and the Facebook URL. So I wasn't really sure. I'd seen the Big Cartel stuff, people that were doing Big Cartel. I'm still using right now Big Cartel. I don't really like it. It's not, it doesn't give me a whole lot of data. I don't like that there are not enough ways to build out the store. I don't like the way my storefront looks. And this is obviously an e-commerce business. So any suggestions or tidbits that I might add, please take it with a grain of salt and understand the perspective that I'm coming from. I'm coming from a e-commerce standpoint. I'm selling stuff online. I do come from the restaurant industry. I started in coffee, and then I went into restaurants, and I worked in restaurants for a very, very long time, at pretty much every position imaginable, from back of house to dishwashing to bussing to serving tables, bartending, managing. And I managed multiple departments as well, not only the floor and the bar, but the kitchen as well. So I knew early on that I never wanted to have a brick and mortar store. I didn't want my focus to be a cafe. I didn't want to be making coffee. I wanted to have a disconnect. That was intentional from the beginning. I wanted to have a disconnect with what I'm doing and the customer, so that there's space in between, there's shipping in between. And a lot of those things I didn't realize how intricate that it would be. So I think the first mistake that I made was my price point. We all know that your competition dictates your price point. You can't just assume that your brand equity is going to be worth charging whatever you want to charge. That's just not how it works. You have to be competitive price-wise. So I was looking at trying to offer value, and I wasn't thinking about the other things that also go in with it. Whereas, so one thing about my markup is that I don't have any profit margin room to offer dealer pricing. So I have been asked by a couple places if they could carry my coffee. So two things for me is, one, that it's a perishable product, so that works to my benefit in some ways, as far as having customers, having long-term customers. This is a product that they're going to have to replenish, so that's good for sales. But that's not good for distribution or having dealers or a shop that wants to carry your coffee, unless they're really going to move it. Otherwise, it could sit on the shelf, go stale. And I didn't mark it up to the point where I could sell it to them at a dealer price and both of us could make enough money. So my hands are kind of tied in that respect, to where I don't want to restructure the pricing. I still want to stay as competitive as possible as far as pricing out each bag. But that is something that I failed on. I did not realize that I needed a higher profit margin for those reasons. I made an Excel spreadsheet and I said, this is how much the bag costs, this is how much the label costs, this is how much the beans cost, this is how much shipping's going to cost. And then I made my profit margin based off of that, and didn't take into account dealer pricing. So if you are starting out, please take that into consideration if you plan on only selling direct. I don't have a choice anymore. I have to only sell direct because I just don't have the wiggle room. I don't have the profit margin unless I was selling at extremely high volume. And for me, being in a lower price point, under $20, everything that we carry right now, we plan on expanding our line into other things that are higher price point. But right now, being in a lower price point, under $20, it's a challenge because volume is everything. So as you start out, my suggestions would be, from what I've learned in this just short year and a half, is that branding is huge. It's funny how I was talking to my partner the other day that the reputation of the company is preceding success. So it's interesting how you can garner a reputation that I can make the company look a certain way or a certain size before what I would consider a success is there. So I'm still dumping my personal money into this business. I'm still what I would consider in the red. And people are surprised that I'm a small company, that this is just, started as a one-man show. People are surprised by that fact. So that's been interesting, is that I didn't think it would be that way. I thought that the reputation would come after the sales and the success and the profits and being in the black. I thought I would be in the black before anybody thought my company had any value. So that's interesting as far as how you promote yourself and how you brand yourself and put yourself out there, and also branding your face, which is really difficult for me. I don't like doing that. I force myself to do it, and I do know that I do see the numbers. The numbers are there, and they don't lie. Posts do better when they're personal and they have a face attached to them. That's just the name of the game. So I'm at my 10-minute timer. I'm gonna stop there, and I don't know. We'll do these once a week, maybe once a month, depending on how much content I feel is necessary or valuable, and we'll go from there.